Hi, I'm Roger Jordan, Vice President of Government Relations for the Professional Services Council. For those of you that missed the 2014 PSC Marketview Conference, here's a brief overview of what you missed. In addition to some great keynote speakers and networking opportunities, we held a number of panel discussions focused on key issues of interest to the professional services industry. First was a panel discussion titled Key Agency Opportunities in a Cost Reduction Environment. This was a session that was led by the next Comptroller of DoD, Mike McCord, Chris Comiskey, who's the Acting Undersecretary of Management at DHS, and Greg Giddens from the Department of Veterans Affairs. Each of them spent a few minutes discussing how their agencies are approaching services acquisitions and some of their key priorities, particularly as they face budget reductions. The next section was titled New Services Acquisition Paradigm. This was led by Tiffany Hickson, who's the Regional Commissioner for FAS within the General Services Administration, as well as Alan Estevez, who is the Principal Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition, Technology, and Logistics. Each of them took a few minutes to talk about how their agencies or departments are addressing services acquisition, particularly in terms of getting their arms around spending on services and how they plan to strategically source professional services in the future. The next panel was titled The State and Future of Contract Administration, and that was led by Charlie Williams, who's the former director of DCMA. Charlie provided his perspectives on the myriad of reform initiatives taking place across government and how contract oversight could be addressed as part of those efforts. Alan Schvakin and I then spent some time discussing PSC's regulatory and legislative agenda for 2014. There are a number of actions taking place on the regulatory front, including efforts to implement counterfeit supply chain provisions from past NDAAs, provisions around contractor comp that still need to be implemented. And on the legislative front, there are a number of initiatives that currently are underway, including IT reform, the DoD reform initiatives that I mentioned earlier, as well as efforts to increase data transparency and efforts to increase small business contracting within the federal space. These are all issues that have a broad impact on the entirety of PSC's membership and we'll be tracking closely and chiming in on throughout the course of the year. So there's a brief overview of what you missed. Again, we had some great keynote speakers in addition to these panel sessions and some fantastic networking opportunities. We hope to see you at the Marketview next year. For a complete summary of all of the PSC sessions that were held during the Marketview conference, please visit the PSC website.